Hey guys, and welcome to the final part of this Legend of Zelda playthrough. In this part I will be tackling the last dungeon of the game here in Death Mountain. And this screen right here you actually cannot go through unless you have all 8 Triforce pieces. This dungeon is very confusing. There's a ton of rooms, a bunch of difficult enemies, a lot of prior bosses are here, a bunch of Wizzrobes, but it's nothing that I can't handle, and I'll be going through the most efficient way possible. Alright, right away there's a secret passage here that I can go through. I love these side screens, I think they're pretty cool. There's a bunch of likes here, just dying to eat your shield up. Not gonna happen though, not gonna let that happen. And here are our favorite friends, the blue Wizzrobes. I always try to avoid them whenever possible. I just hate dealing with them. They're a giant pain. Here's a bunch of them. This room is really not bad. You have a lot of room to move around. The room is pretty much empty. And finally we get the compass, and we'll see that the Triforce piece, which is not really a Triforce piece, it's actually Princess Zelda, is right towards the middle of the dungeon. And that's eventually where I want to get to. But there's a bunch of things I can do first, like getting the map and a few secret items. And here is a Petra, a new enemy we haven't seen yet. There's some variations of it in some other Zelda games. It's a bit of a pain to kill here. You kind of have to time your sword strikes perfectly. Bunch of gels here. These guys are pretty fun to kill. And as you can see, this dungeon is pretty confusing. There's secret walls everywhere. And this Petra is kind of weird. If you look at it, it's almost like the its outside heads are moving in a three-dimensional manner. In an 8-bit game, it just looks kind of weird. Makes it kind of difficult to hit too. And it will leave behind the map, and you can see that this dungeon is in the shape of a skull, and you can see that it's absolutely huge. I mean, just look at all the rooms there. This room is quite annoying, especially because of this bubble. Makes it difficult to move around, so I just decided to run right through it, not even bother. But this one I do have to kill everything, or else I can't move the block for the secret passageway. Just a matter of dancing around these bubbles, dancing to the 8-bit music here. And here is the red ring, and much like the blue ring, it will change my tunic color to red, and now I take half damage of the half damage, so I take a quarter damage than the original green tunic. And again, I'm just gonna run right through this room. I don't even care about these Wizzrobes here. I'm not gonna deal with it. If you don't know where you're going, this dungeon can be a complete nightmare. So here's another old man saying go to the next room, pretty much just telling you that there's a secret wall here you can bomb. It's pretty obvious with the map. Some Wizzrobes here. I try to use my shield pretty effectively to deflect their spells and shoot in between. Here's another secret passage that will take us to another part of the dungeon. Got some souls here. They look so innocent and harmless, and they really are. But I just like to mercilessly butcher them. This room's a giant pain. There are like-likes. These statues in the middle will shoot orbs at me. The blue Wizzrobes, of course, always a pain. That one tried to jump me. But as long as I keep moving, then I won't be cornered, and it's pretty easy to deal with if you get the hang of it. Here's another old man saying Patra has the map. If you remember, we killed the Patra and it dropped the map, and that's basically all it's referring to. And like I said, I'm going a little bit out of my way to get these old man quotes on the screen. They're not necessary to beat the game, but I just like to show them for the sake of this playthrough. There's one towards the end of this dungeon which I really have to go out of my way for, and I take a huge detour just to get it. But it's worth it. Here's another Patra with a semi-three-dimensional floating heads around it. Just very weird how it works. Here's yet another secret passage to take us to another part of the castle. There's a bunch of these in this dungeon. That Wizzrobe is trying to block me off from just making a run for it, but tricked him to come down here, and I can head up. And this room is probably one of the most difficult rooms in the game, in my opinion. Bunch of Wizzrobes, bubbles, not any space to move around. And you can see this bubble's almost getting me, and I'm just making a run for it. It's a very difficult room. But once everything is dead, I can push that block and reveal a secret staircase here. Just have to time everything perfectly so I don't get hit. And this leads to another secret item, the silver arrow. If you remember, one of the old men said that secret power is said to be in the arrow, and it's a hint that the silver arrow that I just got is used to defeat Ganon, the last boss. I'm just waiting for the perfect time to make my run. And since I got this time stop, I'm gonna take advantage of it and kill these Wizzrobes mercilessly. Gonna do a little backtracking now, because I am ready to go to the boss and to the end of the game. But first, there is that old man quote that I'm gonna be getting that I mentioned was really out of the way. So I'll get that first, and then I'll head for the boss. There's a like room, so if you like killing likes, this is the room for you. This room not too bad either. Lots of space to move around. I'm just kind of going through it pretty quickly, avoiding most of the enemies. And this is part of the detour I'm taking to get that last old man advice. It's unnecessary, really, but I am getting it. Oh man, I got very lucky here. I almost got hit by that one, but I managed to run just in time. Eyes of Skull has a secret, and that refers to that left eye that you see on the map, and that's where Princess Zelda is. And I took this giant detour just to show that quote. And now you'll see that if you try to backtrack to where you're supposed to go, you see that that bottom door is permanently locked. And here, when I first played through the game, I thought that if you killed this Patra, the door would open. So I'm just showing this here. It actually does not open. So you see that the detour is huge, and you have to go all the way around. So that's what I'll be doing. So if you're following this video for the sake of a walkthrough, do not go through that door that locks behind you, because you don't need to. It's just to get that quote from the old man, but it does not need to be gone through if you're just going for the boss. Here's some Fire, but haven't seen them in a while. They always just look so happy bouncing around. So you can see I'm going all the way around. We've already been here, we're just backtracking to get to some of the secret passages to pretty much end up where we were before. Gotta re-kill these Wizzrobes to open up the passage. I like how Link looks in this game. Look at him, he looks like a little shrimp. It's pretty funny. Look at him go. Looks like a little boss running around like he owns it. And my rupees are full, so I'm not even gonna bother with that. And this is close to where that Patra was with the locked door that locks behind you. So, did all that just to get back to where I was, pretty much. Just because that one door locked. And here I am very close to Ganon, the final boss of the game. You can't just head straight to the room, you actually have to go through a secret passage here that'll lead you to where Ganon is. So yeah, you can definitely see how this dungeon can be very difficult and very confusing if you don't know where you're going. There's a lot of tricks and a lot of secret passages, a lot of Wizzrobes. Not good for anyone. There's yet another secret passage I have to go through. And this will put me right next to the boss, pretty much. And right before the boss, they have another Patra. Again with a weird semi-three-dimensional rotation of its outer heads. But once it's dead, I can finally head up and hit the final boss of the game, Ganon. Getting my silver arrows ready just for the final blow. And here Link will whip out his Triforce pieces that he collected, and Ganon will appear. This battle is somewhat random, you kind of have to anticipate where he's going to be and hit your sword. I got very lucky here. It took me multiple tries actually to get this boss battle without taking a hit, but that's it. You just hit him a few times and then shoot him with the silver arrow, and Ganon dies, and you can get the Triforce and head up to meet Princess Zelda. And I want to thank you guys for watching this series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like The Legend of Zelda, be sure to subscribe. I will be doing all of the Legend of Zelda games eventually, so I hope you guys can join me for that. But for now, enjoy the ending, and thanks again for watching.